When the door of a high-end downtown restaurant swung open on a quiet Sunday afternoon, no one could have guessed that the unassuming figure stepping inside would become the center of an unforgettable lesson, the kind that leaves a room hushed and hearts heavy with thought. The place was called the Silver Leaf, a gleaming modern dining spot with crystal chandeliers, cascading soft light over polished mahogany tables. The air was filled with the aroma of seared salmon and fresh herbs, gentle chatter, and the faint strains of a jazz trio in the corner. It was a place where regulars sipped fine wine without checking the price, and newcomers dressed in their Sunday best, hoping to impress. At precisely 2:07 p.m., an elderly black woman walked through the glass door, her movements slow but dignified. She wore a pale cream dress under a long tailored coat, the fabric catching the light. With each step, her hair was neatly styled, and she carried a small leather purse tucked close to her side. She paused just inside the entrance, scanning the room with calm eyes before approaching the hostess stand. The hostess, a young woman named Claire, gave a quick, polite smile, though her eyes flickered with the faintest shadow of hesitation. "Good afternoon. Do you have a reservation?" she asked. "Yes, under Evelyn Grant," the woman replied, her voice even and warm. Claire nodded, glanced at her list, and motioned toward the back of the dining room. "This way, please." The table she chose was small and tucked beside the swinging door to the kitchen, a spot with no view of the trio or the windows overlooking the city. Evelyn said nothing. She simply took her seat, placed her purse on her lap, and smoothed her coat. The faint clatter of plates from the kitchen mingled with the hum of diners around her. A few minutes passed, and several more. Her waiter, a tall man in his early 30s named Derek, walked by her table twice without so much as agreeing. His black apron, crisp as hair, perfectly styled. When he finally stopped, it was with a tight smile, an edge in his tone. "Sorry for the delay. We're really busy today. I'll be back soon." Evelyn nodded politely. "Thank you," she said, while the other tables in his section were already sipping on drinks and enjoying fresh bread baskets. Evelyn sat with her hands folded, patiently watching the scene around her. A couple 2 tables away glanced over more than once, whispering behind their menus. Derek passed again, delivering steaming plates to another table without acknowledging her. She watched him joke with a group of young professionals, his laughter easy and genuine. Minutes dragged into 15, then 20. Evelyn's water glass sat empty, her menu untouched. She had been ready to order from the moment she sat down. Finally, Derek reappeared, still wearing that thin smile. "Decided what you want yet?" he asked, as though she'd been the one holding things up. "Yes," she said. "I'm ready whenever you are." He nodded, muttered under his breath, and moved away. She didn't catch the words, but she caught the tone. Nearby at a corner table, a man in his late 30s sat quietly, dressed in a dark tailored suit. His eyes had been fixed on Derek's movements from the moment Evelyn walked, his expression calm yet unreadable. A half-finished glass of sparkling water sat before him, his hand resting on the stem without lifting it. He was Michael Grant, the owner of the Silver Leaf, and Evelyn Grant's only son. He'd watched every dismissive glance, every delayed trip to her table, every moment of cold indifference. Michael had learned patience from his mother, but as the minutes passed, something inside him hardened. She had been the one to inspire him to open this place, the one who taught him that good food was only part of hospitality. The rest came from dignity and respect. Now he was watching someone on his own staff strip that from her. Without a second thought, he stayed in his seat for the moment, signaling to his floor manager, a sharp-eyed woman named Laura, to keep an eye on table 7. "Don't step in yet," he told her. "I want to see how far he goes." Evelyn shifted slightly in her seat, checking her watch. She wouldn't complain. She never did. She taught Michael that you don't need to shout to command respect. Sometimes silence spoke louder. The restaurant, however, had begun to notice the tension. Conversations, quieted glances shifted toward the woman at the small back table. Derek strolled past again, ignoring her raised hand as though it were invisible. Evelyn let it fall back to the table, her face serene but her eyes sharp. Michael stood slowly, his movements unhurried. As he crossed the floor toward Derek, the air in the room seemed to thicken. When he reached him, Derek glanced up, startled. "Sir, I didn't see you there." Michael's voice was calm but cold. "I've been here the whole time. Watching what Derek asked, feigning confusion, Michael's gaze cut toward the back table, watching you. Ignore my mother, who has been sitting here for over half an hour without a drink, without bread, without so much as a hint of the service you've given everyone else. The words landed heavy. Derek blinked. Your mother, yes, Michael, said, his tone sharpening the woman you thought didn't deserve your time, the one you decided could wait. While you laughed with other tables, the room fell into silence. The jazz trio even stopped mid-note, all eyes turning to them, Derek's mouth open. But Michael didn't get a chance to save it. There's no excuse for what you've done, and every person here just saw it. He turned to Laura. Take over table 7 personally. Make sure my mother has everything she wants. Laura nodded and moved immediately to Evelyn's table, filling her glass and offering warm apologies. Michael looked back at Derek. Hand me your apron, you're done for the day. Derek's face flushed with humiliation. He untied the apron and placed it in Michael's outstretched hand before walking toward the door, the heavy click of it closing behind him echoing in the stillness. Michael approached his mother's table, crouching down beside her. You all right, Mom? Evelyn smiled softly. I'm fine, son. You didn't have to step in so soon. He shook his head. I should sooner know. She said you let him show himself, and sometimes that's the only way people learn. Michael glanced around the room, diners, avoiding his eyes, their expressions, a mix of discomfort and quiet respect. He straightened and placed a hand on his mother's shoulder and returned to his table, but the silver leaf was not the same as it had been an hour before. The service shifted instantly, staff moving with sharper focus and greater care. Every guest now understood something. Unspoken hospitality wasn't just a job here, it was a value. Michael knew the story would travel beyond these walls, and maybe that was the point. Some lessons were meant to be witnessed. Evelyn finished her meal with quiet grace, Laura ensuring each course arrived perfectly prepared. There was no bitterness in her demeanor, just a calm certainty that the moment had left its mark on everyone present. When she rose to leave, Michael walked her to the glass doors, holding them open as the city breeze met them. You built something beautiful here, she told him, but remember, beauty fades if respect is missing. He nodded, the truth of her words settling deep as he watched her step into the waiting car and offer one last smile before it pulled away. Inside, Laura gathered the staff for a quick meeting, her voice steady. What happened today isn't just about one table, it's about who we are. Every person deserves respect, no exceptions. Michael listened from the bar, thinking about the quiet strength in his mother's eyes and the silent shame on Derek's face. The silver leaf would go, serving fine meals to important people. But after that afternoon, every person who had been in that room will remember that true service had nothing to do with status and everything to do with humanity. And if you're watching this, ask yourself what you would have done. Would you have stepped in or stayed silent? Because the choice you make in moments like these says everything about the kind of person you are. Choose dignity every time.